going on, guys? Victor here. Beautiful Friday night down here in South Florida. We are about to go out of Hillsboro Inlet. It's blowing, but we're still going, and I got my man, Chef Yames, right next to me. So if you guys don't know who this is, Yames was actually a subscriber who reached out to me about 2 years ago, and we've become really good friends. This guy throws down in the kitchen. So this is gonna be a really special video because whatever we catch and clean, Yames is gonna cook it up. You guys do not want to miss it because, like I said, he brings the heat in the kitchen. We'll see you guys out there. So here's what we got going on. It is not calm out here by any means, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta send it. Block of chum right here. Brooke's holding the chum bag open, and we're gonna hang this over the side of the boat. And if you guys are not familiar with how chum works, when you have a lot of current, that current is gonna take that chum for miles and miles and down the reef line, which is where we are anchored right now. We're trying to catch snapper, we're trying to catch grouper, toros, all these other species that kind of come out at night. So we've taken a few over the bow on anchor, and we're not even anchored on the reef. We're anchored on one of the balls out here. I got some little frozen goggle eyes. Every time we go out and we don't use up our live bait, we like to freeze it. So I got the goggle eye, and the chum's still frozen. So right now we're just getting all our stuff prepared. The name of the game tonight is light spinning reels like this. I got 12-pound mono on here. We got some with braid. And then just jig heads. We're not very deep, so I'm fishing a really light jig head. This is like 1/16 of an ounce, a mustad jig head. I'll have it linked below for you guys. We're gonna take our bait right here. Just gonna skin hook it like that. And with that chum, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fool a fish into thinking it's just another piece of the chum. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let it drift back with the chum. And fish like yellowtail, mangrove snapper, mutton snapper, come up in that chum slick. They're gonna see this chunk and hopefully eat it. You don't want them to feel any tension, because if they feel tension, they're gonna drop it. There we go. There we go. Oh! This one feels like it's digging on bottom, man. Yeah, Dennis said who's gonna be the first one with the fish in the boat. Brooke says she likes to watch and observe before she starts fishing. Look at this, we got an exotic species. This right here is a triggerfish. And no matter how many times I've shown you guys, I'm gonna show you once again. The reason they got the name triggerfish, this thing right here, I'm trying to press down as hard as I possibly can. It won't go down. If you come right here with your hand and you push down right here, that's the little mechanism that allows it to go down. But this is a defense that they use. So let's say a predator tries to eat them. Imagine getting that lodged in your throat. That's why they have that defense mechanism. Whoa! Yeah, that's also not a good sign. We're off to a great start. We got a tangle, a shark, and a triggerfish. You know tonight's gonna be successful.
I feel like this is appropriate to start the night off like first. I'm with the shark.
See? There it is. Come on, baby. There's, oh! This fish is kind of straight up and down going towards, oh man, another shark, another shark. I don't want to jinx ourselves, but every time we catch sharks, it's usually a really bad sign of what's to come. It might be a baby shark catch and cook kind of night, guys. These guys throw down, I tell you what. Watch out. If you ever catch a shark, I don't recommend holding them unless they're small and you can really manage them. This is one of those things and situations where you do not want to grip them lightly. You want to grip them with everything you got, because even a little guy like this, those teeth are pretty gnarly. They will definitely draw blood. You might even have to get some stitches. So I'm really basically giving him the death grip. And just like that, you see, he cut through that mono. A little Atlantic sharp nose shark. Pretty cool looking guys. And he's struggling. He wants to get out of my hands, but I'm really giving him the grip. I'm gonna let him go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, that might be a good fish. That's got some shoulders to it. So the last time we did this, Brookie caught a stud, like, what was it, Brooke, 22? Ooh! Caught a nice mutton snapper. Oh yeah, we got a good fish, guys. We got a good fish.
That's looking good, dude.
Enjoy it. So I didn't start fishing yet because unlike these boys, the chum has not done anything yet. You put that thing in like a solid frozen brick, and I'm waiting until the chum actually does something to start fishing.
Really, Brooke? Because I'm pretty sure that the chum started to do something.
Well, you've only caught sharks. I don't care to catch a shark.
Hey, you don't know. You don't know what this is gonna be. A shark. It's all right, I got cut off anyway. Well, while trying to get untangled with Yames, shark cut me off. Don't be a shark, don't be a shark. This one's fighting a little bit more like a snapper would.
Like the last one?
Hey man, I'm just trying to be positive out here. The person who's gonna catch the snapper is the one with the bait in the water, that's all I know. Man, there's a lot of sharks out here, is all I gotta say. That's what, the fourth one?
That's a little bigger. No?
Yeah, slightly. I don't know what else to say. We're in the sharks. Whoa. So when I just threw that shark in, a bunch of ballyhoo just scattered behind the boat. I think the next shark we catch, we should probably harvest, because you know what? I'm always saying I'm there for whatever the ocean gives me that day. And if the ocean wants to give me some baby sharks, show you guys a good time, have Yames, who's gonna make the best shark I've probably ever had. We're gonna catch some sharks and we're gonna harvest some sharks. This is Yames' lovely girlfriend, Miranda.
Oh wow, different species.
Woo! Yes!
Toro.
Toro.
All right, so get around this and right here.
Making her debut on YouTube today.
Don't fall. Baby, look at you.
We're keeping that, Yames, by the way. Miranda just caught this fish. They go by two names, glass eye snapper or a Toro snapper. You guys see the sun is coming down right now. These guys usually don't bite during the day. They're usually tucked up underneath the ledge or rocks. You see that his eye is reflective just like a glass. And they have really big pupils, which allows a lot of light to come in. These are really nocturnal fish, is generally when we catch them. Very delicious as well. I'm gonna harvest this guy. I think we're gonna do a Toro snapper / shark catch and cook. Maybe some yellowtails in the mix. Why not just do a bunch of different species? What?
See? Now the chum is doing something. Another species.
Little lane snapper. False mutton.
Where it's going.
Oh, Brooke's on behind you.
Ooh!
Get it, girls.
Well, I finally decided that it was time to start fishing. Miranda finally caught something that was other than a shark, and that made me realize that the chum finally started to do stuff. So I just got my first fish.
So Miranda just caught a little mutton. Yames can show him off. Looks really similar to the fish he just caught, which is a lane snapper, but this guy's a little mutton snapper. Come on, Yames, don't act like you never held a fish before.
I'm trying to give a good angle for you.
There we go. Little mutton snapper. They have a very similar spot to the lane snapper, and these guys get much bigger. This is a real juvenile size. Very undersized, so we're gonna let him go.
I got bad news. It's a shark!
That's great news. It's going in the cooler.
Oh.
Watch it. Fly sharks.
I talked some smack about not catching a shark, and then I still caught a shark.
This guy is about, I don't know, the 5th or 6th shark we've caught. And I'm not taking him home for a catch and cook just for the sake of the video. These guys genuinely are good. But you know, when you come out here and you try to target something like a yellowtail or Toro snapper, you know, you have something in mind and you're not targeting sharks. But if there's a lot of sharks around, I'm not gonna waste the opportunity to harvest a delicious fish. And the thing with these guys is, as you see, they are super plentiful. This is the 6th one we've caught in a matter of 30 minutes.
It doesn't feel like a shark. But we've been fooling 6 times already. Oh, there it is. That's a nice keeper size.
Wow,
Nice
that is
lane.
a stud, dude.
This is not a shark. I can tell. It's not big, but it's not a shark. Wow. Oh, a little mangrove.
Nice.
So we got a new species in the boat. This is a mangrove snapper. So we've caught lane snappers and now a mangrove snapper. So these only have to be 10 inches to keep, but you'd probably go maybe 11, but not worth keeping. So gonna get that hook out and let him go. I got something. It feels bigger than that shark I caught, but I also caught it on a different rod. So
Is it a snapper?
oh, it's a mutton.
Oh, nice. Do you need a net or no, bro?
It's not gonna be a keeper though.
He's hooked in the top of the lip. Just flip him good. Yeah, baby.
It's close.
Oh my gosh, what happened to his tail?
Aw.
I never seen that before. What the?
What?
The thing is so off. So after further evaluation, I don't know, that thing doesn't seem to be very accurate. I actually busted out this tape measure. Muttons have to be 18 inches to keep. That guy was 17 and like a half, so we're not gonna risk it.
We're going to, when we get home, line this up and line that up to see what's correct. I felt it when it was in my hand. Like I've caught like, I'm not gonna say like a lot of keeper muttons, but you know, I feel like sometimes when you catch a fish that you kind of catch often, that you know when it's legal. And when I put it there and it said that it was legal, I felt a little fishy about it. So Victor got this other ruler out and I quickly let him go. He swam away perfectly fine.
We're back at it. I'm doubled up with you, brother.
That's a good size mangrove.
Your
Yep.
first one was bigger.
You
I
think?
think. Don't ask me tonight because I thought that was a keeper mutton. So
I got a mangrove snapper too, Yames.
I feel like that's
Doubled up with my brother on mangroves.
Yeah.
Listen, you're the chef, so you're the one who's thinking, what are we gonna do with these fish if
I
you
mean-
cook them whole?
you kind of you kind of already put that in my head earlier. So these are like literally the perfect size to do whole.
You want to keep them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do that. That's kind of giving me a direction to go.
12-inch mangrove snappers. Not bad. When we first got out here, it was all sharks. Then we caught a toro in a lane, and then multiple lanes, and now it's like back-to-back mangroves. It's funny when you see different fish moving into the chum slick at the same time. There it is. There she is. Well, the sharks definitely started to leave us alone. What is this? Oh, that's a better mangrove snapper. I can't complain with catching these size mangroves. This guy's about 13, 14 inches. He's chubby, man. Look at him. He's chubby. Real cool little fish. They got the stripes on them, also known as gray snapper or mangrove snapper. And they got a wicked set of chompers. I'm not gonna stick my finger in there, but they got these two little fangs kind of on the top of their teeth, which they use to crush bait with.
It's amazing how sometimes you get these fish and they're red like this, and then sometimes they're like really gray.
What is it?
Oh, a little mutton.
Yep. Oh yeah, baby. Shallow water like this, they're really green. When they're in the deep water, they're really orange. When you catch those deep water muns in like 200 plus foot, and then when you catch muns on the flats or in shallow water, they got a really green tint to them. It's a little tough, I'm not gonna lie. When it's this rough and you're rocking on, rolling all over the place, you're getting tangled, it's not as easy as when it's calmer, and our current kind of died down, so our chum and our jig heads are basically just floating straight down. The only direction to our lines going away from the boat is basically coming from the wind. So there's plenty of that, but there's not much current to actually take your bait away from the boat. Are you gonna grill them?
He's 11 and a half. 11 and a half.
He's gonna eat just as well as a 13-incher would. That's all I gotta say.
He's going in the cooler. We let go a lot of his friends this size, but this one's going in because it seems like it's slowing down.
You wanna know what's really going on is brisket sandwiches. The other day I smoked a brisket on the Camp Chef. Look at that. Doesn't look too appetizing right now, but I tell you, it is one of the best briskets I ever made. You got a little white bread, some brisket, pickle, and that's all you need. Mmm.
Snapper.
Just have some weight to it.
a keeper, maybe not. We'll see. But it's still a hell of a fish.
He's gonna keep.
17, right?
So close.
17 inches.
Still a pretty fish though.
Oh, we got a bleeder, folks. We actually wanted one more shark for the dinner table as well. Could you hand me that knife? If you're ever gonna harvest a shark, which they are delicious, you guys have seen on this channel, we've eaten so many different kinds, what you gotta do is gut it. As you see, his gut cavity is open right there. And the reason I do that is sharks excrete basically urine through their skin, their waste. They don't pee like normal fish. So if you don't gut it and bleed it immediately, all of that waste is gonna start to seep out into the meat of the shark. And it's just gonna give you a it's gonna give you an inferior product to if you didn't gut it. If people say they've had sharks and it tastes really fishy or kind of like ammonia, most likely it wasn't prepared properly. So big or small, I always suggest gutting it and just dispatching it right away. And also it's good for the fish, you know, that way they're not suffering in the cooler. You basically just kill them right away. So this guy is going on ice. Beautiful lane snapper that Yames caught. That's gonna be a really good whole fish for dinner. That was at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around 8 snapper in the cooler so far. A shark and a toro. So we're gonna be eating good. We got a bag full of headless whole mangrove snapper. I'm gonna show you how to go from this right here to this right here. So you could do one of two things. To get the scales off a fish, you can use a scaler like this, which works really well. But on a smaller fish like this, the scales are not as ingrained into the skin. So what I like to do is I'm gonna have Dennis step back and I'm gonna spray the scales off, and it works so easy and it's not messy and it saves you a lot of time. And the reason I did not cut the head off first is because it makes your job a lot easier to scale it when it's whole. I got a 8-inch Dexter Tiger Edge right here, which you guys can actually save 20% off. Use my code LANDSHARK linked below. And we're gonna just take this snapper's head off. So I'm gonna try to salvage as much meat as possible. Go right there through the backbone. And we're gonna get rid of this right here. And you could leave the head on, but for the recipe that Yames wants to prepare, he requested a headless gutted fish, and when chef tells you to do something, you say yes, chef. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and gut this thing, get all the guts out. And one important thing, if you're ever cooking whole fish, you can see the inside of a bloodline of a fish. If you take your knife and kind of go underneath it, you've exposed that now. Now what I'm gonna do is have Dennis step back again. I'm gonna point the fish away from me, and I'm gonna angle my hose to get all that bloodline out of the fish. It might look like a baby, but these guys do not get very big. I would say this is slightly below the average size we catch. And you can fillet this just like you would anything, where you start, line them up, and go from head to tail. And now I switched over to an 8-inch Dexter flexible fillet. Probably say this is my favorite overall knife for the majority of filleting. Go down on the other side of his backbone, or cartilage I should say. Sharks actually don't have bones, they have cartilage. You can see that he doesn't really have a spine. It's almost as if there's no spine in between the two sides of the shark. You just have this spinal cord right here. But these small guys are very manageable. So if you've ever been intimidated to eat a shark, this is a great, I guess, starter shark. This is your training wheel shark. But as you see, I mean, the meat looks really good. So not only do we have a feast ready for you guys, we actually got Ryan, my best friend. It's his birthday tonight, so you guys all gotta wish him a happy birthday. Down in the description box or down in the comments section below right now. We'll see you guys in the kitchen. We got Chef Yames in the kitchen, the man, the myth, the legend, and he is going to explain exactly what's on the menu tonight, so take it away. It's your kitchen now.
Cool. It's good to be back here. We're gonna start out with like two kind of undesirable fish, which is like a shark, Atlantic sharpnose, and we're gonna do a toro snapper. Both are kind of like kind of, you would think that they would be funky flavors, but we're gonna totally throw you guys off and do them raw, Crudo style, with a bunch of fresh citrus. We're gonna do like a Calabrian honey vinaigrette, and it's gonna be really nice, simple, fresh, like I always kind of do. And then after that, we are going to grill off some whole snapper that we caught the other night, some mangrove snapper, and there's like one lane snapper in there. We're gonna grill it off, get like a nice char on it, keep the skin on it, score the meat, and then I'm gonna confit some tomatoes, and we'll get to the confit part. And then in the back, I have some water going for some farro, and we're gonna do like a nice farro salad with fresh vegetables and another like bold Italian flavor. And that's it. So these right here are sweet baby bell peppers. We're gonna just slice them thin and throw them right on top of the Crudo. It kind of just falls in the line with the Italian style that we were going with tonight.
So as a chef, who is kind of like your biggest like role model in the culinary world?
Dennis just asked me to do another take with this, and he mentioned Gordon Ramsay, and as cliche as that is, I would honestly give a lot to just even be in the kitchen with him for a moment. And then I also feel like Emerald, as also cliche as that is, I grew up in the kitchen with my mom, like watching Emerald, and I feel like a lot of people can vibe with that. He's just, and ironically enough, I had the opportunity to cook with him, and that was like one of my greatest achievements, I feel like. I'm planning on opening up a place in Meisner Park in Boca called Penelope, which is going to be like a New Orleans style, like Cajun French cuisine. And I think that it's gonna be something cool for Florida in general, because we don't have Cajun style food here, really. We have more of a Southern influence, obviously, given where we're at. So I think that it'll take off. I have a really strong passion for Cajun cuisine, and I think that it's gonna be great. This onion right here, we're gonna take it, we're gonna do like a thin sliced julienne with it, and it's just gonna be a garnish right on top of the Crudo as well. Confit is just anything cooked in fat. So the fat today is just gonna be some olive oil. We're gonna go in with some smashed garlic, put it right over top of the tomatoes, and we're gonna put it in the oven at 450. It's gonna release all like the sugars in the tomato. It's gonna add a nice flavor to go right on top of the snapper that we're gonna grill off whole. And the cool thing about this is when you do cook it in the fat, you can take this oil that we're cooking the tomatoes in, and you can turn it into a vinaigrette, you can save it, you can put it in the fridge. So nothing here is gonna go to waste. Just add a little salt and pepper, some cracked pepper. Everyone looks at timers and everyone wants to do that and open the oven and look at it. Obviously look in the oven and check, but these are one of those things you can put in the oven and like almost forget about them. Just make sure you don't get them to the point where they're like obviously burning and your oven's smoking and your wife's yelling at you. Just right in the oven, super hot. Let them go. So this is farro, and it's good in salads, which we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna call it a salad, but it's mainly farro and some raw veggies. You can really do anything with this. You can make risotto, you can do everything. It's super starchy. You're gonna do this 25 minutes, and it really depends. It's just like pasta, like really, like as long as you cook it enough, it's gonna be great. So we're just take this, slice this really thin. Fennel has a kind of licorice flavor to it. Also traditional in like Italian cooking. Either you like it or you hate it, to be honest. If you guys ever watched me on Victor's channel before, I've done this a few times before, you take the orange and you're gonna segment this. This is called a supreme. And you just take it at an angle, watch your hands when you do this. Obviously you don't have to do it as fast. And it just falls right off. And you have perfectly segmented orange pieces. If you're afraid of spice, I would deter away from these because they are very spicy, but they call them Calabrian chilies because they come from Calabria, Italy. And we're just keeping along with the theme right here. I'm gonna take a little bit of these. And since there's a couple people here that don't like spice, that looks like a lot, but it's not gonna be. And we're gonna take this and we're gonna make like a little broken vinaigrette. This is Meyer lemon vinegar. We're just gonna take this, pour this in there with it.
Worst, like head chef experiences.
This is a good one. And I hope you're watching and you know who you are. I was opening up a restaurant in Wellington. It's my first restaurant that I opened with somebody else. And the chef at the time, he had a little bit of an attitude problem. And I'm not proud of this moment, but he threw a plate at me of octopus and potatoes. Had the whole restaurant seated, which was about 210 people. And I walked right out of service, and they closed 3 months later. This vinaigrette that I made with the Calabrian chili that I stated previously that was really spicy is a lot spicier than I anticipated. So if something's a little spicy, you can always cut it with a little sugar, a little honey, Luckily, this vinegar already had honey in it, so it all makes sense. This is the shark, believe it or not. It surprised me because I came here already set in mind that I was gonna do this raw just because I've never seen anyone do shark raw before. And I'm gonna take this and do this crudo style. And crudo just translates to raw fish, sliced in Italian, basically. So we're gonna take this. I have a sushi knife. I know everyone doesn't have a sushi knife at home, but just get your sharpest knife in the kitchen. You can take the fish, you lay the knife flat like this, and then you just slice thin like that. And they'll come out like that. That's the start. You wanna watch your fingers, and you don't wanna treat this like a serrated knife or the pieces will fall apart like that. But just so you can lay it out nice on the plate, and then we'll put all of this stuff, all the veggies, everything else right on top of it.
I was a little suspect on the raw shark, but when you got Yames behind the knife and in the kitchen, I'm letting him do whatever he wants.
All right, so after we drained it, we just lay it on a sheet pan, and we're just gonna chill it down in the fridge. Another thing that we're doing tonight that you just kind of just cook and forget. Really easy. It all seems complicated, but it's not. Toro versus shark tonight. Both kind of undesirable fish. Toro are really pretty, but the flesh of the meat doesn't really take that on. It's ironic because both shark and toro have the similarities of like having the iodine and affiliation with like not really tasting good. We're gonna prepare these both the same way, see which one we like better. My bet's on the shark. When you're serving fish raw, I usually do everything I can to kind of cut that red bloodline out. It's where you get any kind of fishiness from that you would typically taste. So I'm just gonna take this, lay it out on the plate. I'll have all the veggies that you saw me cut already ready to go and marinating. So when everyone gets here, I'll just pour everything right on top. I'll make it look all pretty and foofy, and then everyone gets to enjoy and eat.
Die from a fire because we have the most sensitive smoke detectors I've ever seen.
So I just popped those confit tomatoes out, and that's kind of what you're looking for. When I was explaining them earlier, the process, you kind of want, like for this one for example, the skin kind of breaks away from it. It's releasing all the sugar, all the moisture that's actually in tomatoes. And this changes the whole profile of the tomato. You eat a tomato, you really don't get that much sweetness. These, it's just gonna absorb all of that oil and nice stuff. And don't be alarmed by the amount of oil in it. We're really just gonna take these and scoop these out and use these right as a garnish. So these are the diced veggies that you saw me do earlier. I added some basil, I added some vinegar, I added salt and pepper, and then a little zest of an orange and some lemon. And we'll just let those sit, and then we'll toss those right when the farro and the fish is ready to go. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna just score it. Scoring is just like putting your knife in there, giving it just a little cut. You're gonna feel the bone. Typically you wouldn't go all the way down, but I'm going all the way down. We're gonna grill it, and then we're just gonna season it with a little salt and pepper and garlic and grill it off.
Looks so
Come on,
serious.
Yames, look happy. We got my favorite chef in the house. We also got my favorite thing to cook on. You guys always hear me talk about this thing. Camp Chef Apex Grill. I can still smell the brisket that I smoked this past Friday on it. This thing is a badass unit. Not only is it a pellet grill, but it's got propane gas burners in one, so it's literally like a home chef's dream because you can do so many different things with it. And you got a side burner. I always got to give love to Camp Chef.
So this is a snapper you saw me score and season earlier. We have the grills at like 600 right now. You really just want it at a hot temperature because you want to get a nice char on the outside of the skin, and it prevents it from prevents it from sticking to the grill. It prevents any kind of thing that could basically go wrong with snapper on the grill. Snapper does have a tendency to stick to a grill, but if you keep it at a hot temperature like this and it's controlled like it is with this Cam Chef, it's gonna go great. So we're gonna lay these on. You want a little bit of flame. These ones you can sit here and baby a little bit and move around and not make sure that there's nothing really like flaming up, and the char will just add a nice flavor to it. Pretty much from this time on, we are gonna keep the top up just so we can control whether there's flames or not. It's gonna like, you want char, but you don't want it to burn, obviously. So you kind of have to have that like happy medium when it comes to fish. Kind of getting to the point where it's not sticking, it's kind of lifting, and that's how you know you can go. I would get a little bit more char on it typically, but I think this is right where we want it to be. And you can lift the tail up, and if it's not sticking to the grill and you see some nice char on it, you're right there.
What do you think about it?
I think it looks great. I cannot wait to eat Yames' food again.
All right, so I had some leftover lemons, and it was just an afterthought just now. But if you take some lemons, you cut them in half. So I took some of the grilled lemon, and I'm just finishing right on top of the fish. Like I said, it's gonna add like a nice caramelized lemon flavor, a little bit of sugar, steam it off to make sure it's done, and then we're good to go here. This is a quick process. Like you can kind of, because of the scores in the meat, you can kind of peel your fish back, make sure that it's fully cooked, and we're ready to go here. The veggies that I marinated earlier, it's all gonna get mixed together, and that's just gonna be the base for the snapper to go right on top of. So we'll just give this a toss, and then I'll plate it up.
We gotta give a round of applause to Yames. Let's go, Yames! It's very good.
In my entire life, there's never been an opportunity to eat shark, but in the last year, I think Vic's called me about 4 times to eat different species of sharks here.
How is it?
I think I'm on the whatever the one with the eyeball, the big eyeball, the Toro. Yeah, phenomenal.
One of my favorite ways to eat fish is whole, and this is really good.
I think it's great.
It's good.
It's the first time I've ever eaten shark.
Really
It's firm.
You just grab it by the tail.
It's got a good meaty texture.
Okay.
And you just pull. Well, you gotta eat one side of the fish first.
It's a great fish for crudo. You don't want mushy fish. I personally do not like mushy fish when it comes to sushi or crudo or ceviche. You want something with some texture, with some bite. Not gonna lie, I was very doubtful of Yames with the raw shark. I think it's just like the thought of eating raw shark, which is just stupid because I always preach to you guys no such thing as trash fish, just trash cooks, but it's great.
Obviously, James is a chef, but like, to think that you can serve shark raw is just so, someone did say unique, and it really is unique, and it tastes amazing. Like, people have certain like things set in their mind of the way they can eat things and things they can and cannot eat. And this just goes to show you that what Victor said, no trash fish, just trash cooks. It's amazing that everything on this plate is delicious.
I just know that I will be talking about this for 6 months. As I said, it's amazing, as always, Yames.
Look at that fish carcass in your hand.
First time ever eating a whole fish.
I think we need a picture of that for the 3, 2, 1 video.
Yeah, literally.
As Christina was holding that fish up, what I like about it is you guys see, so you might be wondering why we're eating whole fish. When you eat the whole fish, there is no waste because you get every little morsel of meat in between every single bone, all the meat that's in between the rib cage. And I know we don't do it enough, you know. Westerners can be pretty wasteful. We like to whack off the fillets, but it's good to get back and kind of like really appreciate the animal and, you know, just kind of eat it whole, and it makes you humble. It's fine, it's fine. Just bring it, bring it. Hold on, wait.
Happy birthday to you.
It's perfect.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I still don't know what to
I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Everybody wish Ryan a happy birthday in the comments section below, like I said earlier. Huge shout out to Yames for coming over and cooking for all of us. It was killer. I think everyone would agree. And get a round of applause for Yames and Ryan once again. And yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.